CWG.news. Thank you so much for joining me on our weekly Sunday Sunset live chats. A decent evening as rain tries to pull eastward out of the mid-Atlantic region. 63, a little clammy, but a little fog expected maybe late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Overall, though, this will be kind of the coolest, kind of clammiest, moist air mass we might have as we warm up this week. So let's get the graphics up here so you can see comfortable warmth early in the week turns to much less comfortable heat by the end of the week. So for the latest, go to CWG.news/latest. For the latest on CapitalWeatherGang.com, that's our latest forecast. And I want to thank you for joining me on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube tonight. Any of these three social media platforms of ours, and this isn't all of them, but these are the ones I can simulcast to you, so please send in your questions and comments, and I will be happy to take them as per usual in our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. Sunset is getting later and later every Sunday that I talk to you. We're approaching 14 and a half hours of daylight from sunrise to sunset, and we'll get ever closer by the time you talk to me next Sunday as well. Hey, Arlene, you were loving the weather? Excellent. And Maria, if the cicadas were late doing their thing, will they stay around later? Probably. We're expecting them to get louder and come up out of the ground en masse later this week. So let's, of course, remind you the latest we have at CWG.news/cicadas. And I also want to plug the rocket launch that I think is still on for tonight in the 8 o'clock hour. Go to CWG.news/launch. And again, see our latest forecast at CWG.news/cicadas for what we expect a quick acceleration in those cicadas coming and hatching, finishing their molting later this week as we get very warm by week's end. Doris had a nice day today. Excellent. Need to clear so we can see the Wallops rocket. Indeed, Marianne, I hope we can see the rocket launch. This is their last attempt to save the mission, the current mission tonight, so fingers crossed. All right, Charlene says, blech, not ready for 88 to 90, perhaps later this week. Indeed, Charlene, a little warm, 10 to 15 degrees above average, potentially later this week. Dwayne is saying, bring on the heat. Stephanie is countering with that. Yuck, keep the heat away. Michael, how do you stop the dog from eating the cicadas? That is very hard. Every 17 years, it is ridiculous, Michael, how much the pets seem to go for those cicadas. Kit is saying, wow, we're going from March last week to July, and I agree. We're going from several degrees below average to maybe up to 15 degrees above average by the end of this week. And Saturday, we could have some showers around this Saturday in Central Virginia, Kit, but it doesn't look like a washout as it stands now. It looks to be warm as well. Random storms tonight. Tracy is talking. Maybe you are east of town, Tracy. Let's look at the latest radar really quick. Things are moving slowly but surely eastward out of the mid-Atlantic region. So hopefully the rumble of thunder that you experienced has ended in a fairly brief manner. Yes, though, we could use the rain in the region. So far, the eastern half of the United States is doing much better with the drought situation. Our topsoil, maybe not so happy for gardeners and farmers who have to water often, but even the seasonal forecast is fairly optimistic for the mid-Atlantic, save a couple of spots there in the Carolinas. But we're doing okay. We're about a 0.92 inches under where we should be since the beginning of the year, and a little bit more expected, especially west of the Washington, D.C. area this week, but not too much for D.C. proper and parts of Pennsylvania. So please keep watering, gardeners and farmers. Dwayne, this very well could be the end of cool weather. I am going to be wearing my lighter shade colors next Sunday. When you speak to me, we'll definitely be feeling much more summery. Even by Friday, we could see a little bit of humidity, mugginess, with dew points potentially getting up near 60 degrees. You see that tropical question mark by Friday. So let me pull up our mugginess meter. Just keep this in mind. We could see 60 to 65 degree dew points perhaps as early as Thursday for an hour or two. But I think Friday, Saturday is when we start seeing more steadily moister air. Chow, so far I do not hear the cicada sounds. Let me know if you do where you are. Mary, good gardening weather today until some of the rain started coming down. Yes, indeed. Hey, Alan, thanks for joining on Twitter. An outlook on tropical weather this season. We don't have one yet from capitalweathergang.com, but let's review the storm names for this season in the Atlantic. It goes with Anna at the beginning, Wanda at the end of the alphabet, and so far no indication of tropical activity possible in the next 7 to 10 days. Of course, though, as we get to June 1st and into the most active part of the hurricane season, late August into mid-September, we'll of course be doing more tropical moment updates here with you on these weekly Sunday sunset chats, so keep that in mind as well. Let's see, Marianne says it's overcast in Spotsylvania. I'm sorry if that means the launch tonight will be obscured from Wallops Island. What do I have latest for you on that? It looks like I don't see that they have launched just yet. They're trying in the 8 o'clock hour. This is their last attempt tonight to save this portion of the mission to launch the rocket. They've tried several times, but for the latest, go to CWG.news/launch, and of course follow us on Twitter at Capital Weather. And for the latest on cicadas, I want to plug that as well at CWG.news/cicadas. And anytime you need us, we're at capitalweathergang.com, and on the 3 social media platforms I'm simulcast streaming to you tonight. Here you are, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Kenny, you are getting dry in your garden, it looks like. I'm sorry to hear that. We do indeed need to keep watering. The rain and Reston kit reports may have washed out the cicadas from their holes. We'll see how that works out for their hatching later this week as we get warmer and warmer. So here's the latest forecast at CWG.news/latest, and you can see the comfortable warmth this week starts turning less comfortable into more substantial heat by the end of this week and the weekend. Blue cloud cover in Fair Lakes. I'm sorry, Vicky, if you wanted to see the launch, if it is obscured. And thunderstorms are possible, raws perhaps as early as Thursday, I'll say 5-10% chance. Slightly growing chances as we get into the end of the week, maybe Friday. Rainier potentially this weekend with some moments of showers and storms. I don't call a washout, but it is lower confidence when we look at this weekend. Let's take a quick sneak peek at Saturday. I don't hesitate to give you too many details because it's subject to change, but it looks warm still this weekend. Not guaranteed to be at or above 90 if rain chances do tick upward a little bit with some showers and storms, but here's your sneak peek at Saturday. Continued warm for the next several days between like Thursday and Monday. We could see a couple, 2 or 3 chances of being 90 or higher, so keep that in mind around the DC region. The end of La Nina, Barbara, it should hopefully reduce the hurricane season. That is one notably good thing. And let me show you the names for hurricane season this year. But with La Nina fading, it should be a little less active typically. So keep your fingers crossed. That La Nina helped energize the 2020 hurricane season last year. David says the AC is being turned on this week. Yes, indeed. It is getting less and less comfortable by week's end. We could even see a tinge of humidity for an hour or two Thursday, more so Friday, and then I'll kind of say with higher confidence this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the heat and the humidity could combine to make it a little bit less comfortable. Yes, indeed. Stephanie is grumpy at the humidity. Yes, indeed. It should hold off until Friday, maybe Saturday, Stephanie. So that is the good news. And I don't foresee us getting a spike of mugginess where dew points are drastically quickly above 60 degrees much until maybe Friday, Saturday. Could have a couple moments Thursday, but don't expect a huge spike into kind of muggy, sultry, oppressive levels just yet. So that is some good news. We are easing into our humid season, our more muggy season here in the DC Mid-Atlantic region. Alan says, cheers. Thanks for tuning in, Alan, from Twitter. I appreciate that at CWG.news/Twitter. And the next bout of precipitation, it's pulling out tonight, Scott. So if you wanted some precipitation tonight, here's the latest radar pulling out to the east and dwindling as we go into the evening hours and pushing out into the Atlantic more and more. And we could see some fog overnight late and into tomorrow morning with some cloud cover and some ground fog. But precipitation overall this week, kind of dry around DC and Pennsylvania. More westward into the Mid-Atlantic area, we could see some slightly more significant rains this week. But I will say, and I tried to put in a couple little, about the graphic there. I tried to put in a couple little emoji for you to indicate kind of a 5 to 10% chance of precipitation almost any given day this week. But Wednesday has the highest chance of staying dry and potentially the sunniest. But rain chances start slowly stair-stepping 5, 10, 15% into Friday. And I'd say maybe as high as 20-25% as it stands now for the weekend. Not a washout, but expect a slightly higher chance of periodic showers and storms as we go into this weekend. And could be a little bit breezier as well. Let's see. So I hope that answered your question, Scott. Thanks for tuning in from CWG.news/Facebook. All right, breaking out the kayaks this week, Charlene. Glad you can get on the water. It is more comfortable on the water temperatures now this time of year as well, but be a little bit careful. Some waterways could still have some cool pockets. Let's see what else. We've got Marie, rocket on hold till 8:34. I love that you are tuning in to that. And for the latest on the launch, of course, go to CWG.news/launch. And here are the cicada materials that we have on the blog as well, on capitalweathergang.com. For cicada information, go to that link. And for the latest on the launch, CWG.news/launch. Their last attempt to save this mission is tonight in the 8 o'clock hour. They are trying to get this rocket off the ground, but on hold now until 8:34. Let's see, I've got about 10 more minutes here on this live stream, simulcasting to you on all 3 of our social media platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Camden Walker for capitalweathergang.com. That's our blog, anytime you need us, or on our 3 main social media channels. Thank you so much for tuning in for these weekly Sunday sunset chats. And of course, sunset is getting later and later as we head toward the summer solstice in June. For the Northern Hemisphere, it's summer solstice around June 21. And look at that, almost 14 and a half hours of day length. Maybe as we get closer to when you talk to me next Sunday, we could really be approaching 14 and a half hours of day length. And I think my first mosquito bites happened this season. They are slowly out, slowly but surely, in the mid-Atlantic and DC area. So I hope you were enjoying some of this greater evening light, of course, obscured by the clouds tonight. But I would still argue that it's not too uncomfortable yet. We should, in a way, with the warming temperatures this week, try and enjoy these 60s while we have them. Yes, a little cool, a little clammy. But I am trying to just give you advice. Yes, tomorrow starts comfortably warm, but look at that by the end of the week. 90 looks, I would almost say, probable at least once between Thursday and Friday. We could hit 90 at least once in the DC area. So keep that in mind. David, not a tropical downpour. Friday question mark was for a tropical tree, feeling a little more tropical, but that it's a little bit of an overstatement. I don't think it'll be too muggy, too steamy, too tropical feeling like on Friday, with dew points maybe hovering in low 60s, 60 to 65, which is, as according to our emoji mugginess scale, which I'll pull up for you here, not too bad. A little sticky, moist, becoming unpleasant. But hey, when it gets to midsummer, we're going to appreciate dew points around 60 or in the low 60s. So I know as we get into summer, it's going to be fine seeing a 60-degree dew point, but our bodies are not quite used to mugginess and humidity levels over the 60-degree dew point threshold. So keep that in mind. We could see that by the end of this week as well, but no major spike in heat index values, major stressors to our body other than these temperatures, which we could hit 90 degrees for the first time later this week. Can you believe we have not yet in the DC area hit 90 degrees just yet? So our counter still remains 0, which we'll track this season for you, the heat tracker, which I'll try and show you in a minute. But we were averaging usually this point to every year. We usually have one 90-degree day by now, by around mid-May. Laura is looking forward to the warmer temps. Barbara, pollen, let's talk allergies indeed. Tree pollen is still bothering me. I will testify to that, and it could spike a little bit more this week. Grass as well has been low this weekend with some of this rain, at least today, right? But I had to use eye drops and a pill today just to don't look at my eyes too closely. But I expect trees and even grasses to stay in the game as we clear out this rain. They are going to be pretty happy as we get warmer and sunnier into the middle part and later part of the week. So not the end of allergy season just yet in the mid-Atlantic or Washington, D.C. area. All right. No severe chances, Drew, this week it looks like. I agree with that. We'll see about this upcoming weekend. The pattern is a little bit uncertain once we get to this weekend, but shower and storm chances are there a little more than this upcoming week. So let me show you the latest forecast here. A couple 5, 10, 15% chances of showers, maybe a storm later this week, but yeah, severe weather chances are low to none through this work week and maybe even through this weekend. But we'll keep one little peeking eye open as we get into this weekend to see how the pattern gets more confidently in focus. The details get in focus by this upcoming weekend, which looks warm and a little humid, which is a little bit of a partial recipe for some thunderstorms indeed. So let's see. We've got Laura looking forward to warmer temps. Dawn says no to the 90s. I'm sorry, by Thursday, Friday, we could see 90 or higher. And Cindy has some cicada activities for us there. That's excellent. Ooh, there's a Cicada Olympics book. All right. And yep, Barbara, thanks for joining from YouTube, from CWG.news/YouTube. Indeed, oak pollen has been a little bit high and bothering my eyes for sure. Sorry, allergy sufferers. The pollen season for grass, especially in trees, could spike again later this week. Grass appears to have been washed out briefly, but focusing on the trees, again going up later this week. High now for the most part, and it could get higher again later this week. And oak, yep, I think Barbara, that is indeed hurting my eyes a little bit as well. So I will recap for the next 5 minutes while I'm still on the air with you. Our latest forecast is available at CWG.news/Facebook. We are comfortably warm starting tomorrow, but it gets less comfortable. A little too warm, maybe 15 degrees above average. Too warm too soon, in some argument, by the end of this week. But humidity, yeah, with the tropical tree I put there on Friday, we could feel a little more steamy, but I don't want to overstate it. It doesn't look like a major spike in humidity by the end of the week. We'll just be plain hot. 90 or higher is possible Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday. So let's say those 5 days, there's a very good chance we hit 90 at least twice between Thursday and Monday. Rain chances get a little more uncertain. Those details for a shower or storm, maybe a few of those coming this weekend. The pattern's a little more uncertain of that setup in the atmosphere for this weekend. So it remains to be seen if we can hit 90 over the weekend, as well as rain chances go up just a little bit as well. Kenny is reporting the launch is a go. So let me make sure everyone is following the latest that we have on CapitalWeatherGang.com with the launch at CWG.news/launch. And of course, the second question that comes up for these Sunday Sunset weekly chat Q&As is our cicada coverage at CWG.news/cicadas. Latest forecast basically saying the warmth later this week is going to accelerate and probably make it more noisy in the region. So keep that in mind as well. Oh, Barbara, thanks so much for your kind words and for tuning in every week. Very glad to have you at our YouTube channel, CWG.news/YouTube. And thanks everyone for joining from Facebook, from Twitter, from YouTube. It's good chatting with you every week on these weekly Sunday Sunset Q&As. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Here's a quick glance at the week ahead. Starting warm and kind of comfortable. Monday, getting a little warmer Tuesday, but not bad. And then by the end of the week, we're maybe 15 degrees above average, accelerating that warmth with a little tinge of humidity possible as well. Rocket launch time, says Sandra, is 8:44 p.m. Thanks for that update. And I should be off the air in about 3 minutes, so I will not distract you all from the potential 8:44 p.m. launch at Wallops Island. And let's talk about drought, Elizabeth. That is a great question. Our topsoil for gardeners and farmers, not great, but the water table is still in great shape. We're not even an inch behind for the year, about 0.92 inches in deficit year to date, where we should be from January 1 to now. You can see in the Carolinas, abnormally dry there, a hint of droughts there. The eastern half of the United States in much better shape. No water restrictions here compared to parts of the West. So continue to water. The topsoil with the sunshine and heat later this week will have and respond in a very dry manner to high evapotranspiration rates this time of year. With all the plant life now being alive, it is quickly sucking out any moisture it can access in our topsoil. So please keep that in mind. The sun is also a July sun, very hot, very strong. Use that sunscreen, please, even when cooler temperatures. They have nothing to do with ultraviolet rays. You can get a you can get a sunburn on a very chilly day this time of year because, again, it is July strength sun, very high in the sky, very strong. Okay, so drought overall, we're in good shape. Let me show you the seasonal outlook, still in very good shape, echoing, though, a little bit of that North and South Carolina dryness that we were looking at in the current condition map. So this week, I can't promise you the next 7 days of precipitation in the region. Not much to promise you, unless you were west of town in the mountains, higher elevations. That's where the greatest chances of showers and storms are later this week, especially as we get a little more muggy, and that helps kind of percolate the atmosphere and bubble up some storms over the Blue Ridge and the Appalachians. So keep that in mind. Keep watering if you can. It's not a pain, but it could be worse. We are not officially in a drought. So far, tracking below, almost an inch below where we should be year to date, but not in a drought situation, not even technically abnormally dry. So let's do spin positive. The water table is doing all right. Let's see, David. Soaking rain soon, David. If you're lucky later this week, especially west of town, you could be in some of these momentary downpours. The good news is, maybe not for outdoor plans this weekend, but shower and storm chances may increase a little bit Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So there, I looked at the precipitable water, the amount of water that could be wrung out by a good downpour, a storm that sits over your area. We could get a higher moisture threshold later this week. So a couple downpours could give you a quick half inch, maybe even an inch if you're lucky. And again, the trend is for west of the Washington, D.C. area. So keep that in mind. No organized areas of showers and storms currently expected for this work week, David, but we'll keep an eye on this weekend. Great Elizabeth, I am glad you are tuning in. Thanks for tuning in from Southern Pennsylvania on our Facebook page. All right, that is my 20 minutes. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. Latest forecast is right here, and our latest detailed forecast on the CapitalWeatherGang.com blog at CWG.news/latest. You should be able to click on my face, and popping up below on your mobile device, you should see the links that we've covered with the Cicadas and the launch tonight happening at Wallops Island and the latest forecast, or the links appear above on your desktop or laptop. Thank you all, and see you next Sunday evening. Have a good start to your work week. Be well.